Can I ask you something personal? Have you ever walked into a room, paused for a moment, and forgotten why you were there? Many people over 60 tell me that story. They laugh it off saying, it's just age. But as a neurologist with more than 30 years of experience, I need to tell you, not every lapse of memory is just age. Sometimes what you put on your plate can quietly shape the way your brain ages. A new study from the Ohio State University revealed something alarming. In only 4 weeks, older adults who ate a diet high in processed foods showed clear signs of memory decline and inflammation in the brain. 4 weeks, less than the time between 2 visits with your grandchildren. That is fast. But here's the hope. The same studies showed that when seniors added the right kind of omega-3, called DHA, their brains protected themselves. Memory improved. Inflammation decreased. I am not here to scare you. I am here to guide you with compassion and clarity. Think of me as your companion on this journey. Over the next 30 minutes, we will talk about how food choices can either speed up memory loss or slow it down. And we will uncover simple, everyday steps you can take to protect your brain before it needs saving. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed your memory slipping after a period of unhealthy eating? Share 1 in the comments if yes or 0 if no. Your story could encourage someone else watching right now. Number 1, why seniors are more vulnerable. Can I ask you something that may feel close to home? Have you noticed that when you were younger, staying up late or eating something unhealthy didn't seem to affect you much? But now in your 60s or 70s, even small changes in diet or routine can leave you feeling tired, foggy, or forgetful. That difference is not your imagination. It is your brain showing the natural changes that come with aging. As a neurologist, I have seen hundreds of patients over 3 decades, and I can tell you with certainty that the aging brain is more sensitive. One reason is inflammation. When you are younger, your brain can handle a little stress or poor food choices. It has a stronger cushion of resilience. But after 60, that cushion thins out. The immune system becomes more reactive. A bag of chips, a sugary soda, or a frozen meal that might not affect a 30-year-old can trigger noticeable brain fog in someone over 60. The Ohio State University study confirmed this difference in a very clear way. Older rats fed processed foods for only 4 weeks developed memory loss and inflammation in the hippocampuses and amygdala, the parts of the brain that store memories and guide emotions. Younger rats eating the same diet showed no decline in that short period. This gap matters. It means that the same food can harm you more today than it did years ago. Here is where many seniors make a common mistake. They think memory loss is just a normal part of aging. They shrug it off. They laugh about forgetting names or where the keys are. But ignoring these signs is like ignoring the first smoke before a fire. The truth is, early memory decline may be one of the strongest warnings that the brain needs care. The good news is that awareness itself is a form of protection. When you recognize that your body and brain are more vulnerable, you can begin to make small but powerful choices. Choosing a fresh piece of salmon over a processed dinner. Drinking water instead of a sugary drink. Resting on time. These steps may seem small, but they add up to resilience. So let me ask you directly. Do you sometimes notice your memory slipping and wonder if it is more than just age? Share your thoughts in the comments. You may be surprised how many people watching feel the same way. Number 2, what do processed foods do to the brain? When we talk about processed foods, many people imagine only candy or fast food. But the truth is the danger is much closer to your kitchen table. Frozen dinners that promise convenience, deli meats that look harmless, or even so-called healthy snack bars. All of these fall into the category of processed foods. They are quick, affordable, and easy, but what they do inside the brain is far from harmless. Think about what happens when you eat a meal rich in refined carbohydrates. Those foods are broken down very quickly into sugar. That sugar rush enters your bloodstream like a flood. For a younger person, the body can often absorb the hit, at least for a while. But for someone over 60, the same sugar surge sparks inflammation and stress in the brain. Let me explain it in simple terms. Your hippocampus is the part of your brain that helps you remember where you put your glasses or what you promised your granddaughter yesterday. Your amygdala is the part that tells you to step back when a car suddenly pulls too close. The Ohio State University study showed that processed foods inflame both of these areas. That means memory slips become more frequent, and your ability to respond to danger weakens. Imagine not remembering the stove is still on, or not feeling fear when you truly should. That is what inflammation steals from the brain. Processed foods are designed to last longer on the shelf, not to keep your memory strong. They are stripped of fiber, stripped of nutrients, and filled with additives that confuse the body. Your brain ends up starved of the steady energy it needs. That is why, after a microwave dinner, you may feel full in your stomach, but empty in your focus. I have seen this pattern in my patients. One gentleman in his late 60s came to me worried about his memory. He lived alone and relied heavily on frozen dinners. He said it was easy and it saved time. But after months of this routine, he noticed he would forget directions to places he had visited for years. Once he replaced half of those meals with simple, fresh options like eggs, vegetables, and salmon, his clarity improved. His brain did not just need food, it needed the right kind of food. And here is something I want you to remember. The harm from processed foods does not take decades to appear. In the Ohio State study, it showed up in only 4 weeks. 4 weeks of eating the wrong way made older brains act as if they had aged years. That is how fast the decline can come. So let me turn this to you. Have you ever felt that foggy, heavy feeling after eating packaged or processed meals? Do you notice it more now than when you were younger? Leave a comment below. Sharing your story could open the eyes of someone else watching tonight. Number 3, DHA, the brain's natural shield. For many years, scientists believed that once memory started to fade, there was little we could do to slow it down. But newer research gives us a very different and much more hopeful story. There is a natural shield your brain can use, and its name is DHA. DHA stands for docosahexaenoic acid. It is a special type of omega-3 fatty acid. Think of it as the building block of your brain's armor. In fact, more than 1/4 of the fat in your brain is made of DHA. When you have enough of it, your brain cells communicate more smoothly. Your memory stays clearer. And most importantly, DHA helps fight inflammation, the very process that weakens the aging brain. The Ohio State University study revealed a striking result. Older rats who ate processed foods showed memory decline within 4 weeks. But when the same diet was combined with DHA, the brain was protected. Inflammation dropped almost completely. Memory performance improved. The hippocampus and amygdala, which are so sensitive in aging, remained healthier. This is not a small detail. It is proof that nutrition can actually change the path of the aging brain. Now let us talk about where you can find DHA. The richest source is cold water fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. Just 2 servings a week, baked or grilled, can supply your brain with a steady flow of protection. If you are vegetarian or vegan, you still have options. Algal oil, which is made from marine algae, provides DHA in a plant-based form. In fact, one study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that algal oil is absorbed almost as effectively as salmon. That means you can get the same benefit without fish on your plate. Here is what many seniors do wrong. They think a supplement alone will fix everything while continuing to eat frozen dinners or sugary snacks. That is not how DHA works. It is not a magic pill. It is a support system. DHA can shield the brain, but if you are constantly attacking that brain with processed foods, the shield will weaken. The best results come from pairing DHA-rich foods with a cleaner, more natural diet overall. I remember a patient in her early 70s who was terrified of developing Alzheimer's disease. Her mother had suffered from it. She decided to make a change. She added salmon to her meals twice a week, replaced sodas with water, and reduced processed snacks. 6 months later, her memory tests improved. More importantly, she told me she felt calmer, more focused, and less anxious. That is the power of DHA when combined with good choices. So let me ask you, how often do you eat fish or other sources of omega-3? Once a week? Never? Share your answer in the comments. You may encourage someone else to take their first step toward building their brain's shield today. Number 5, weight gain and its silent impact on the brain. When most people think about weight gain, they imagine sore knees, shortness of breath, or tighter pants. But what often goes unnoticed is how extra weight quietly changes the brain. The Ohio State University study showed that both young and old rats gained weight when eating highly processed foods. But here's the critical point. Older rats not only gained more weight, they also suffered far greater damage in memory and brain inflammation. Why does this matter? Because weight is not just a number on a scale. Extra pounds place stress on your entire system, from your heart to your circulation to your brain. Excess weight often goes hand in hand with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and sleep apnea. Each of these conditions starves the brain of oxygen and increases inflammation. And when inflammation rises, memory declines. I remember one patient in his early 70s who told me, "Doctor, I never worried about my brain. I worried about my waistline." He had gained 20 pounds over a decade, mostly from late-night snacks and frozen meals. But what truly worried him was not his belt size. It was that he began forgetting conversations and missing appointments. His brain was sending him signals through his body's weight. Once he began replacing processed foods with fresh meals, not only did he slowly lose weight, but his energy and focus improved as well. This is where many seniors make a painful mistake. They think, at my age, what's the point of worrying about weight? But the point is not appearance, the point is protection. Every extra pound gained from processed foods carries with it higher risk of diabetes, stroke, and memory loss. The brain is more vulnerable than ever past 60, and just as extra weight slows your steps, it also slows your thoughts. Let us be clear, DHA supplementation, as powerful as it is, cannot erase the harm of constant weight gain. In the study, even the rats that received DHA still gained weight from their processed diets. Their brains were shielded, yes, but their bodies carried the burden. This is a lesson we must not ignore. Supplements can help, but they are not a free pass to eat poorly. Think about it this way. Carrying extra weight is like walking through life with a heavy backpack. Every step takes more effort. Every climb feels steeper. Your heart pumps harder, your blood vessels strain, and your brain feels the ripple effect. But here's the hopeful part. When you lighten that backpack even a little, your whole body breathes easier. So let me ask you directly, have you noticed changes in your memory or focus when your weight went up? Did you feel sharper during times when your weight was more balanced? Share your reflections in the comments. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs to take their first step today. Number 6, real-life lessons from my patients. Over 3 decades as a neurologist, I have learned that sometimes science becomes real only when you see it in the eyes of a patient. Charts and numbers can tell us the truth, but stories remind us why that truth matters. I think of one woman in her late 60s, a retired teacher. She came to me worried about her memory. She said she had always been sharp with names and dates, but lately she found herself repeating questions and forgetting where she placed important papers. When I asked about her diet, she admitted that most of her meals came from the freezer section. "It's easy," she said, "and I live alone." Her case could have been taken straight from the Ohio State study, processed foods daily, and an aging brain under stress. We worked together to make small, realistic changes. Twice a week, she cooked fresh salmon with vegetables. She swapped her evening snack of chip for a handful of walnuts. Within 3 months, her memory tests improved. But more than the test scores, she smiled and said, "Doctor, I feel like myself again." That sense of self is priceless. Another story comes from a gentleman in his early 70s. He had always been proud of his independence, but he confessed he had started leaving the stove on and forgetting to lock his front door. He laughed at first, then admitted he was frightened. His diet was heavy in processed meats and packaged bread. We added DHA through sardines and introduced more fresh greens. Slowly, his confidence returned. He told me he felt less anxious and more alert, even while driving. These stories remind us that science is not an abstract idea. It is lived experience, and it proves something powerful. Change is possible at any age. No matter how long you have relied on processed foods, your brain can respond to better choices. So now I want to invite you to reflect. Have you or someone you love experienced moments like these? Forgetting daily routines, feeling foggy, or anxious about memory? If yes, please share your story in the comments. Your words may bring comfort to someone who thinks they are struggling alone. Number 7. Simple daily choices that protect your brain. When patients ask me what the best medicine for the brain is, I often tell them it begins in their own kitchen. Pills and supplements can play a role, but the daily choices you make with food, movement, and rest are the foundation. And the good news is that these choices are simple, practical, and within your control. Let us start with food. The brain thrives on steady, high-quality fuel. That means whole foods, not packages. A breakfast of oatmeal topped with blueberries and walnuts provides fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats. Compare that with a sugary cereal from a box. One nourishes your neurons, the other drains them. For lunch or dinner, think of plates filled with color. Salmon baked with lemon, broccoli drizzled with olive oil, a small portion of brown rice. Each bite gives your brain the building blocks it needs to stay alert. Next is hydration. Dehydration is one of the most overlooked causes of brain fog in seniors. Many older adults drink less water because they fear frequent trips to the bathroom. But when your brain is even slightly dehydrated, memory and focus decline. I recommend keeping a glass of water nearby throughout the day. Small, steady sips are far better than waiting until you feel thirsty. Movement is another daily medicine. You do not need a gym membership to protect your brain. A brisk 20-minute walk, a few gentle stretches, or even standing up and sitting down from a chair several times builds circulation. Better blood flow means better oxygen to the brain. I tell my patients, every step you take is a gift to your memory. Sleep is the silent healer. During deep sleep, the brain clears toxins and stores memories. Yet many seniors cut corners on rest. They stay up late with television or wake up often during the night. Prioritizing a calm bedtime routine, dim lights, no heavy meals before bed, gentle breathing, can restore the quality of your sleep and in turn sharpen your recall during the day. Finally, let us talk about stress. Chronic worry floods the brain with stress hormones that chip away at memory. Find moments of peace, prayer, meditation, gardening, or even listening to calming music. When you calm your heart, your brain follows. Now, I want to bring you into this conversation. Which of these daily choices feels easiest for you to begin today? Cooking a fresh meal, taking a short walk, drinking more water, or going to bed earlier? Share your answer in the comments. Your decision might inspire someone else to start as well. Remember, protecting your brain does not require dramatic changes. It requires small, consistent acts of care. Each glass of water, each step, each fresh meal is like adding another brick to the wall that shields your memory. Over time, those small bricks build a strong fortress. And that fortress is your gift to yourself, to your family, and to the years ahead. Number 8, hope in healing your brain can recover. One of the most powerful lessons I have learned in 30 years of practice is this: the brain is more resilient than most people believe. Many seniors come into my office feeling hopeless. They say, "Doctor, I think it's too late for me." They fear that memory loss is permanent, that confusion will only grow worse, and that independence is slipping away. But the truth is far more encouraging. The brain can heal, it can recover strength, and it can surprise you with its ability to adapt, even after 60 or 70 years of life. Let me explain why. Your brain is made of billions of cells that communicate through connections called synapses. When those connections are damaged by inflammation, poor diet, or stress, memory suffers. But when you begin feeding your brain with healthier choices, omega-3 fatty acids, steady hydration, restorative sleep, those same cells start building new pathways. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. I like to describe it as your brain's ability to grow new side roads when the main highway is blocked. Even if one path is damaged, another can be built with the right care. I recall one saying, a man in his late 70s who was certain that his forgetfulness meant Alzheimer's disease. His father had suffered from it, and he carried that fear like a heavy burden. Together, we focused on fresh foods, daily walks, and DHA from salmon twice a week. Within 6 months, not only did his memory tests improve, but his mood lifted. He told me, "I feel like I got part of my life back." That transformation was not from a miracle drug. It came from the healing potential built into his own brain. Hope is not about denying the challenges of aging. Hope is about recognizing the power you still hold to change your path. Each time you choose water instead of soda, fish instead of processed meat, or an evening walk instead of sitting in front of the television, you send a message to your brain. I am protecting you. I am helping you heal. So today I want to give you encouragement. No matter how many years you have relied on processed foods, no matter how many times you have brushed off memory slips as just age, your brain can still respond. Healing begins the moment you take your first step toward change. Let me ask you, what small action gives you hope? Is it trying one new fresh recipe? Is it committing to go to bed earlier tonight? Or is it simply believing, for the first time in years, that improvement is possible? Share your answer in the comments. Your hope may ignite hope in another person watching right now. Your brain has carried you through decades of life. It has recorded your memories, your lessons, your joys. It deserves protection, and with the right choices, it can recover more than you might imagine. Number 9, emotional closing and call to action. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on everything we have shared. We began with a simple truth, that memory loss is not always just aging. We have seen how processed foods inflame the brain, how DHA acts like a natural shield, how even weight gain silently affects memory, and how small daily choices can change the story of your brain's future. The greatest message I can leave you with is this. Your brain is not broken. It is waiting for your care. Even if you have relied on convenience foods for years, even if you feel like forgetfulness has already taken root, there is room for healing. Science and patient stories both show us that the brain can respond when you nourish it with the right support. As a neurologist with more than 30 years of experience, I have walked alongside countless patients who feared the worst, and I have seen their courage transform into results. A man in his 70s who thought dementia was inevitable rediscovered clarity after simple dietary changes. A woman who once laughed off her memory slips found joy when her focus returned. These are not fairy tales. They are proof that age does not erase possibility. So today I want to speak directly to you. You are not powerless. You can protect your brain before it needs saving. You can choose food that feeds your neurons, movement that boosts circulation, rest that restores memory, and calm that protects against stress. Each decision is like planting a seed of health, and those seeds grow into strength. If you are feeling discouraged, let me give you this comfort. Healing is not about perfection. It is about progress. One better choice at a time. Drink a glass of water. Take a walk around the block. Add salmon or walnuts to your plate. Go to bed a little earlier tonight. Each step counts. Each step matters. And each step tells your brain, I have not given up on you. Now, let us make this a shared journey. I would love to hear from you. After listening today, what change feels possible for you right now? Is it replacing one processed meal with something fresh? Is it trying DHA-rich foods this week? Or is it simply believing that your memory can improve? Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments. Your voice may be exactly what another person needs to hear tonight. And if this message has touched you, do not keep it to yourself. Share this video with a friend or family member over 60 who deserves to know that their brain can still thrive. Subscribe to this channel, Dr. Brain, so we can continue this journey together. Every week, I will bring you new knowledge, real stories, and gentle guidance to help you live not just longer, but better. Finally, I invite you to continue learning with me. Watch the next video titled, Eat These 3 Natural Foods to Prevent Dementia Before It Starts. It will show you exactly which foods can strengthen your brain against the risks we discussed today. Your mornings matter, your choices matter, and your brain, the keeper of your memories and your wisdom, matters most of all. Protect it, and it will continue to serve you with clarity, strength, and dignity.